Hello.
How would you feel about a hiring manager hiring for an engineering position, and when the candidate comes for the interview, they say, you know what, I just want to get this out of the way because this is the most important question that I can ask you today. Looks the candidate straight in the eye and says, are you pro-life or pro-choice? Candidates would be pretty confused. Now, it's one thing if it's actually relevant to the job. A friend of mine is running for city council in Burnsville. Her name is Kara Schultz. I was on a board with her. She is strategic. She brings life to meetings. She is a people person and devoted to making the world a better place, has sacrificed her own time, energy, and money. So she goes door to door, she's talking to constituents, and she's asked, what's your position on abortion? But what they're really saying, when they ask, are you pro-life or pro-choice, they're really asking, are you with us or are you with them? Is it dogs or cats? Because I don't want to have to, because thinking is hard. There are a lot of issues on the table in Burnsville, but abortion isn't one of them. Asking someone who's running for city council what their position on abortion is as ludicrous as asking an engineer if they are pro-life or pro-choice before proceeding with the interview. Let's face it, if you say you're pro-life to a pro-lifer, then they're like, awesome, I'm on your team. It's a polarizing issue. It allows people to divorce their brain. And I understand in the age of information overload that it's easy to lose sight of the forest for the trees, but what we really want to do is prioritize. Being a good citizen is not an easy task, and here's the hard work. The hard work is, what's the job that I'm hiring for? What are the priorities in this job, and who's the best candidate for that job? And so let's take, for instance, let's take the presidency. The president doesn't have a lot of authority to change domestic policy. Your lizard brain may engage over those things that you disagree with. When it comes to domestic policy, I like progressive taxation. I like regressive taxation. I want equal taxation. Okay, all of those things are fine and good. The fact of the matter is that the president doesn't really have a lot to do with them. The president doesn't write legislation. It's a platform. The president is able to influence the discussion with a platform, but the most authority that the president has is as commander-in-chief. So, when you're choosing the president, you would want to look at a resume, and you would want to look at whose foreign policy most closely aligns with my values. Personally, I want a military defense, not a military offense. We have 4 people running who have a mathematical shot at actually winning the presidency, despite the fact that the media wants to dumb it down and make it a choice between Trump and Clinton. That's not actually the case. We have Gary Johnson, who is polling, CNN had him polling at 13%, Jill Stein is polling at 5%. So we have Trump, Clinton, Gary Johnson, and Jill Stein. So we have 4 candidates who have a mathematical shot at winning the presidency. If we're going to evaluate them seriously, let's not talk about things that you wouldn't normally consider. You know, like, I like Trump because he's a straight talker. I don't know how many times I've heard that. I like Trump because he says the things that I want to say, but I can't. That's how you choose a president? Really? That's how you choose an executive? I could go to my local corner bar and find somebody like that. When I'm hiring for the presidency, I'm looking at this like an actual job. Not like magic, not like I'm hiring a superhero, like I'm hiring a person for a job. If I were to tell you why I'm supporting Gary Johnson, it's because he was an awesome executive. He did a fantastic job as governor of New Mexico because he already managed a budget, because he already implemented an agenda. Hillary, what I often hear with her is that she's a woman, and she's not Trump. I haven't heard any really awesome reasons to vote for her. A good question to ask would be, what issues are on the table right now? What authority will you have to do something? What do you plan to do with the authority? So here's the problem. When you ask a question and get an answer that you disagree with, but kicks in our fight or flight, that stress reaction where our brain shuts down and we're no longer able to receive new information. So in order to prevent that, the best thing that we can do is seek information. Then we learn something when we ask those sorts of questions, and it's easy to lose sight of the forest for the trees and turn into a Coke or Pepsi, dog or cat, dichotomous black and white thinking. I believe that we can do better.